Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AWS Financial Services Symposium here in New York City. I'm your host, Rebecca Knight. I would like to welcome our first guest of the day. He is John Trapani, Field CTO Financial Services at DataDog. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's great to be here.
I want to start by looking at the big picture because financial services and insurance organizations are modernizing at a pace we have not seen before, with cloud migration, microservices, and AI integration all happening simultaneously. You work with these firms directly on a day-to-day basis. What are you hearing about their growing pains, and where does DataDog fit into this?
Sure, that's a great question. So if you think about the last 5 to 10 years, the trend toward cloud modernization, microservices, that's existed for a while, right? What has happened over the last 2 or 3 years, and especially really I would point to the last 12 months, is the impact that AI is having on all of those plans. So there has always been the push towards modernization, evacuating my data centers. Now it's being turbocharged because there's this additional sort of asymmetric pressure to show real value with AI very quickly.
And where does DataDog fit into this?
So, we're the unified observability platform, and that's a big way of saying, in these very complex environments with very complex stacks, technology stacks, having the single place to go to understand exactly how your environment and how your applications are behaving, to be able to quickly identify problems before they impact your customers, quickly find the resolution. We're that single pane of glass that ties together your logs and your application metrics and your user experience out at the edge in the mobile devices they're using. Where that one place you can tie all of that together with a security overlay as well, and only have your entire team look at one single point and sing from the same hymnal.
So let's actually talk about that single pane of glass with one of your customers, Itaú Unibanco, which is, of course, the largest private bank in Latin America and runs Pix, Brazil's instant payment network. Tell our viewers a little bit about the situation before DataDog and what happened once DataDog started working with you.
So Itaú was like many customers. They had accumulated over time a variety of different point solutions. I want to say the number was north of 12 or 13 different vendors, each supplying a little piece of the answer for their comprehensive, unified observability. But you can't get unification when you have 13 different tools involved in your operation. So what they did was they decided to standardize on DataDog to provide that comprehensive look from logging and all the telemetry that comes out of from the logs, the application performance metrics, the digital user experience, and synthetics that are monitoring those important customer journeys. And there were some notable achievements from having done so.
So let's talk, the numbers that came out of that engagement were so impressive, but as we heard from AWS's Scott Mullins, a lot of it is also about the people and the processes. Can you talk a little bit about the changes that you saw with the people and the teams?
So, right off the top, the first thing is that the teams are spending about 30% less time, a little more than that, on issue resolution when there are incidents. So that by itself is a huge win. It's a huge win just in terms of no one likes getting woken up at 2 in the morning, and when you do, you don't want to spend 3 hours fixing a problem, right? But it's also that the number of incidents they were seeing because of the great early warning that they were able to deliver means that they're having not quite, but almost half fewer incidents. So almost 50% fewer incidents in general as a result of having done this. And what that means is, a lot of times when the bridge opens, when there's a crisis, and people start dialing in, rather than have to bring everyone up to speed because everyone is looking at their own little part of the universe, everyone is looking at the same data at the same time. So just the amount of time they spend when there is an incident and people have to gather on that bridge becomes very, very condensed.
Being able to see these problems much more clearly. I'm sure there are a lot of technology executives and senior leaders who are hearing what you're saying and they're wrestling with similar problems. Where do they get started?
So in many ways, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So if you're having an issue with logging, and maybe it's just a cost issue, maybe it's a utility issue where your teams are having difficulty really identifying valuable insight in that data. Maybe that data is not well correlated to your application performance because you're using 2 different platforms to do it. Starting where you have the most pain is always going to be a safe choice to make. Now, The trend in the industry is towards consolidation to achieve not just cost efficiency, but operational efficiency, and increasingly as AI begins to play a role, like with Datadog's Bits AI, SRE, you need fewer authoritative sources of truth in order to get great value out of your AI capabilities. So that's another reason that it might make sense to start organizing around a great answer like Datadog.
Excellent. Well, John Trapani, thank you so much for coming on the show. A great conversation.
Thank you so much.
I'm Rebecca Knight. Stay tuned for more of theCUBE's coverage of the AWS Financial Services Symposium.